Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Voices of Main Street. I'm your host, Stephanie Iacino, the Director of Community Engagement, and today we are joined by Andrea Pineda, our youth workforce development program manager. So we're going to talk a little bit more about the program and kind of the real world experience of that and everything. So thank you for joining me today. And
Of course, no problem.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the program and your role in it and everything?
Yeah, for sure. So the Youth Workforce Development Program was something we started back in 2023. It's what I like to call a job readiness program for opportunity youth here in Stockton. It is for youth between the ages of 16 to 30. Essentially, we just hire about 15 to 20 youth every 3 to 4 months or so. They do train and work here in our social enterprises downstairs, which is the kitchen, Main Street Gifts, Plaza Perks. Sometimes we're able to find them positions upstairs if they, are willing to. Maybe they want to go into like the mental health field. Maybe they want to learn some HR skills, or they're going to school for social work. So we kind of try to see if there's any openings in our other programs upstairs as well, where they can kind of learn and mentor and get job training skills. And we kind of help youth that have had trouble keeping a job or obtaining a job. Maybe youth that just have never had a job before, or maybe they show up to work late every day, so they need a little bit of extra coaching in that area, or they've never learned how to work a cash register or just have any kind of people skills. What we find is a lot of youth want those social skills. It's something they always say after COVID, they were used to homeschooling. They're not really used to socializing, so they want those skills. They want to learn how to talk to people and even just have basic small talk. So that's where we kind of come in and we work with them. We are all trauma informed, and we take an empathetic approach to, hey, if you're late every day for 1 week, we're not going to say, okay, you're fired. No, we're going to take more of the time to get to know you, and okay, let's figure out why you're late every day. Let's figure out how we can help you. Maybe you need a bus pass, maybe you need an alarm clock, or a call if we have to, just to get you into that routine so you don't lose the next job you're going to have. And we also have job readiness workshops for them, and kind of like life skills workshops every week. We do resume building, cover letters. We talk about customer service, where they do some role playing. We help them set goals at workshops. We talk about financial literacy, so that too. We have them open up their banking apps and do a quick budget for the month, and they realize, oh my gosh, like I'm spending a lot at Starbucks or Dutch Brothers and stuff like that. So we help them out with that too. Some of them don't know about credit, so we do credit education with them too, and we do mock interviews with them. So that's always my favorite, because we take them shopping for interview clothing, and each youth picks out an outfit, and they get $100 to spend on like shoes, a belt. Some of them buy like really nice belts, some of them buy bow ties, and it's really fun to take them out, and then they come to their mock interview dressed in their interview clothes, and we give them a mock interview and critique. And yeah, and usually that's kind of when we do towards the end, just to see their growth in the program as well. But yeah, that's kind of what we do. We also help them every week with a check-in with their employment specialist. So they come in and we kind of come up with the plan, like, okay, what's your end goal at the end of the program? Do you want to get another job? If so, where? Maybe you've always wanted to join an apprentice program. Okay, let's get you into that. Or maybe you want to go back to school, so we'll help them out. We do tour Delta College and UOP, and they kind of get to learn what kind of programs are out there, and it's cool because they get super excited about going back to school. And we have a connected Delta that's great at showing his enthusiasm for Delta College, because it's a great campus, and some of them sign up to go back to school after they leave our program. They decide, I just want to focus on getting a career, full-time and not work, or do both. And the goal at the end is to either have them be in an entry level and towards their career path, or just another job if that's kind of what they want to do too.
Oh, that's awesome. So you're helping them more than just, here's a job, and here's some hands-on experience. You're helping them basically become independent on themselves, and learning those types of skills.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so let's go. So you mentioned the age group that you work with. It's from 16 all the way to 30.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge age gap.
Yeah.
And you talked a little bit about how COVID has affected some of the younger ones and not getting those social skills. Do you mind elaborating a little bit more on that?
Yeah. So we do get all ages. Some of them have been 30 years old. Maybe they were previously incarcerated and are kind of trying to get back into the role of their society. We do get a lot of single parents too that have been struggling due to not finding childcare. So we kind of help them out with that too. But yeah, it's more so between 16 to 22-year-olds that are kind of I just don't know how to keep a conversation going. What do I say to someone to have, some small talk with them? And so at the customer service workshop, we kind of go into that role. My team and I do some role playing first to demonstrate kind of hey, this is kind of what I would do, in this case. We kind of use other examples too in the community, we have Julie in the shops downstairs that we always use an example of, because she's always good morning, to everyone, and even just starting there. And if they can't, then okay, where are you willing to, how much out of your comfort zone are you willing to go, because it is hard for them. It's difficult. I get it. It's talking to people can be nerve-wracking, especially the people that walk in our plaza, at the courthouse plaza all the time. We get judges, lawyers, social workers, professionals that walk in here and they're kind of intimidated a bit,
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of working with them more at their check-ins one-on-one to overcome that fear, overcome that intimidation, and just kind of be more themselves. We kind of think, okay, notice what someone's wearing. Maybe sometimes maybe they have a pin of a show that you like, oh, you like that, I like that, or how was your day going, did you catch the game last night, and we role play with them in our office too, just to kind of make them a little more comfortable. And we do encourage them to get to know all of the employees here at the agency too, and some of them are very helpful at helping the youth and going down and talking to them, getting to know them a bit better. But yeah, they all kind of say the same thing, they don't know how to socialize, they don't know how to communicate, because most of their high school was online, and that's kind of what they were used to, not really those social interactions face to face. So it's tough, but they at the end of the program, it's just great to see how much they've grown and they've changed. Some of them realize, maybe customer service is just not for me. I'd rather do maybe a warehouse job where I don't have to talk to a lot of people, because this is just too much for me right now. And we even do some mental health referrals to, if we feel maybe that's kind of what's going on, maybe there's some trauma that they experienced where they just don't want to talk to people. So there's a lot. It's not just job readiness, like you said. It's a lot. We always tell them, well, once you're part of the program, you're kind of always a part of the program. And we do have past clients come back and say, hey, can you practice with me? I have this other interview coming up, and I don't know what to say. So, yeah.
Oh, so you guys still help clients even after they
Yeah,
left the program?
yeah. They come in. They're like, hey, I'm not really feeling this job I'm at anymore. I got another opportunity. Can you help me freshen up my resume? Maybe if they need another set of interview clothing, maybe we could help them out with that too. If they just want to come in and practice with us, what do you think they're going to ask? Okay, well, you want to come in and, we'll practice interviewing with them so they feel a little bit. And we usually do a panel so that they're not freaked out when that happens in real life, because, that tends to happen a lot more now too.
Mm-hmm.
So they feel more confident, and kind of get the nerves out with us before they go and actually interview for that next job. Yeah, or
Nice.
role.
That's awesome. So, in the program, what kind of opportunities do the participants receive?
They get, we do help them initially with work clothing. So if they, we've had homeless youth that don't even have a pair of socks or, underwear to wear to work. So we take them shopping initially before they start with us. And if they need jeans, if they need belts, if they need like I said, underwear, socks, and we take them shopping. We do get certifications for them too. So, for example, the youth that work in the kitchen or at Plaza Perks, we get their food handling certification, and we also get them the non-slip shoes that they require for the position. So they do get those certifications. And also, I mean, if a youth is just like, you know what, I do kind of want to try the food industry, maybe can you help me out with that? So we get that for them too. If they maybe want to go into childcare and they need their fingerprinting, they need CPR and first aid training, then we purchase that for them too. We've helped youth obtain their guard card too, so we kind of pay for that training as well. We've helped youth get their forklifting certification too if they want to go into that. Just kind of anything that's going to help them land that next job and have more under their belt and more on their resume to show. We do some cross-training opportunities for them too. So if we have a youth that maybe he's in the shops and it's like, you know, I do want to maybe get some skills in the kitchen, or I kind of want to be a barista. So we kind of offer that for them too, where they can cross-train and, hey, maybe a day or two, and let's see if they really like it, you know, before we actually say, okay, maybe we can have you work in the kitchen or the Plaza Perks a couple days out of the week. We help them with FAFSA, enrolling for school, scholarship opportunities. Like I said, we also take them mock interview shopping. We provide bus passes for them as well to get to and from work. If we have to ride the bus with them, then hey, you know, so they get the hang of it, then we'll do that. We also take them to their interviews if they need transportation, helping them get to work also. Yeah, so there's a lot that we can do for them. And if I do have some partnerships with certain apprenticeship programs. We've partnered with Open Innovations, who just opened downstairs, and they do a whole array of like graphic design, you know, 3D printing programs. So if we can get them into those programs, they kind of get a leg up, you know. They still have to interview for them, of course, but yeah, so there's a lot of opportunity for them when they join the program, and as long as they're willing and able and that's what they want to do, then we'll do our best to kind of see what we can do to help them.
Awesome. So what are some of the most important skills youth gain while in the program?
For me personally, or just them, the youth?
The youth,
okay,
yeah.
The youth, they've gained a lot of customer service skills. They, by the time they kind of like graduate the program, they've learned time management skills, again, how to talk to people a little bit more. They're more, because when they join us, they kind of don't know what they want. They don't know what they want to do yet. Some of them do. Some of them come in and they're like, I want to do this, you know, but most of them just want that first job. And so by the time they leave, they're more goal-oriented, you know. They're more focused on, okay, I've seen and I've talked to, I mean, we've had guest speakers come by too and show them what they have to offer, and they kind of are like, okay, I kind of want to do this now, you know. So that's a big part of it for us. I like to push education, just because the job market right now is kind of, you know, you kind of have to get a job right now with AI and all this stuff coming out that's going to have longevity and it's going to be around for a while. So I kind of tell them, hey, like, have you ever thought about, you know, medical careers or technology, you know? So even if they don't decide to go to school while they're in our program, it's just planting that seed. And a lot of them come back after, maybe a few months after, and they're like, now I'm ready to look for that next, you know, certification job, or even if it's like going to a 2-year program or something 6 months, you know, that can get them, like the apprenticeship program. If they want to get into a trade, then they can go through that program, which is like about 6 weeks, and then see, you know, they get to try each and every trade and see what's the right fit for them. So it's a lot, yeah. And I mean, they never want to leave because everybody here, you know, we're more patient with them, but we do give them real world expectations. So again, if like it's something that's continuing after we've helped, then, you know, we kind of do the coaching, stuff like that, just so they get that experience too, because it's not going to be like this everywhere else. So just making that very clear, hey, you know, like, not everyone's going to be like this when you're out there, so we want to prepare you. So more than that, to just preparedness, job ready preparedness for their future careers, so that they can keep those jobs and not, you know, have to be jumping from job to job or just floating around, kind of. Yeah.
I love that you guys have this wide variety where you guys can figure out, okay, what are you passionate about? What is going to motivate you to get out of bed in the morning to go to work?
Yeah.
And, you know, just trying to figure out, okay, this is what you want to do. Let's figure it out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You guys aren't just like, oh, well, we only have, you know, barista or a cook or,
right. Yeah.
you know, a salesperson. Like, those are the only opportunities we have, so that's what we're going to focus on. It's more broad than that.
Yeah,
so
and that's what we want. Yeah, we want them to explore and figure out, you know, because we tell them, if you hate your job, it's going to make the rest of your life miserable. You know, you want to do something where you do want to get up in the morning, and a job shouldn't be something that, you know, you hate doing. It should be something that you're passionate about. Maybe even if it's just like the people you work with, you know. I love it because of my coworkers. Like, that's why I want to go. Even if it's as simple as that. But it's just letting them know and learning that, you know, you might not be at this job forever, but it might be something that leads you to something else, and always network. And, you know, just when we do our goal workshop, we have them also do vision boards, so they kind of, you know, it's so cool to see how excited they are about that. They, you know, they post their like dream cars or dream house, like even eventually they want to have families, you know. And so we kind of talk about, okay, well, what career is going to get you that, you know, like what is it that you're really, some of them have always wanted to work on cars, so we're like, okay, let's get you in school, you know. We show them Delta College's program, and they're just like, I want to do this, you know, even more. So yeah, that's one of my favorite parts of what we do, for sure.
Awesome. Trying to see what else we got here. So what are some of the most important skills youth get? I already asked you that one. How does this program help prepare youth for long-term success, whether it's in career or education, outside of, you know, what you've already said?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just learning the little stuff, like I said, you know, just how to dress for work, even, you know, how to dress for an interview. And we tell them to, like, know your audience, because some people, like, if you interview for a certain place, they don't want you super, you know, business casual. They want you more relaxed. And some businesses are like, no, you have to, you know, dress this way. So, and also reading job descriptions a little bit better, because a lot of the youth just kind of apply because, hey, it's a job and it's paying $20 an hour, but you got to read, you know, and maybe even having multiple resumes too that tailor to different job interests. So like if all you have is food service in one, put all, you know, and that's where you're going to apply next, or you want a customer service job, put that experience on it. And just things that they've never really explored before. Like I said, just getting out of bed on time to like get to work, and just having boundaries also. You know, acting a certain way and proper at work versus, you know, who you are at home, things you do at home. Like I tell them, when you guys are out of here, it's you guys can do whatever you want, but while you're at work, you know, you are expected to, you know, behave a certain way, talk a certain way, you know, and that kind of stuff. Like, watch what you post on social media, type, you know, like just getting them ready for that. We also have like we don't really allow them to, we don't want them on their phones while they're at work, because a lot of jobs now too, they take your phones, or if they see you on your phone, they just tap you on the shoulder and like, okay, let's go, you're done, you know. And that's another thing that we want them to get ready for, and safety too, depending on the job. You know, not wearing their AirPods when you're supposed to be paying attention to a customer, or making a drink, or even, you know, flipping a burger, because, you know, you might get hurt, or not hear something. And so those kind of things, aside from everything else.
All right. So many of the youth that you serve are entering the youth workforce for the very first time and have so many challenges. And the program really supports them in, you know, waking up on time, getting to work on time. Is there any other ways that the program kind of assists them in overcoming those challenges? Yeah,
I mean, like I mentioned, if we have to pick them up for work because, you know, they're afraid to ride the bus, we can do that for some time. And then kind of talking to them about, hey, maybe you're going to save aside a few a couple bucks every paycheck so you can get yourself maybe an electric bike if you're not ready to drive. We do encourage them also to get their licenses in that sense too. So we've actually studied with them before taking the permit test. Um, Even if sometimes they want us to talk to their parents about, hey, my ride is my mom's, so sometimes she's got a lot going on and maybe she can't get me there on time. Can you guys maybe like talk to her about how this is affecting. So if we have to kind of, we try to have boundaries too, but sometimes like I said, it's like a mental health thing, or if we have anybody dealing with substance abuse in that sense, we can help with referrals also out to the community and like free services that we know, or having them call their insurance if they're ready to take that next step to see what's out there, because they're tired of this kind of taking over and not being able to get up on time because I binged the last night, or I'm just down all the time and I need maybe extra support outside of this to really help. So yeah, it's kind of like whatever we can do that's within our limits, then we'll try to. I do take it very personal to help each youth as much as we can, because if I make a promise, I intend to keep it. So it's kind of like, okay, I do want to try, but as long as you're meeting me halfway, like we tell them, communication is key. Especially with your supervisors and your, just knowing what's going on, and not like, again, not everybody's going to be this way, but as long as we can work this out now, then you should be able to manage, and sometimes we're able to kind of, depending on the situation, maybe I'll ask if I can keep you on an extra month, just because I feel like, that's kind of what you need. You just need a little bit more time before you're ready to go out there and maybe you just started your mental health or substance abuse services, and so, okay, we're going to see how that goes, and see how much you improve then.
So in those circumstances, like if you had to refer someone to rehab or something like that, do you guys pause their work here?
We can.
Or do you have them keep going?
We can. It just depends on them. So if they're going to be like in-house, or if their therapist maybe recommends, hey, I think you need to take some time off, depending on what they're going through, because some of them come in dealing with some really heavy stuff. Some of them lose relatives while they're in the program, friends, and they just need a little bit of a break. And so we can sometimes offer that to them. It's like, okay, well, how about, if they're in treatment for something, okay, come see us when you're done. We'll depending on kind of where we're at in our cohort too, if they can kind of just jump in the middle of one, back to where they kind of left off, then we can do that. Or I tell them, give me like a month and the new one's going to start, and I'll definitely have you start back then. So yeah, we have had youth come back because, they left for mental health reasons, and maybe like 6 months later they come back, then we can do that for them too. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So I know we've talked a lot about the youth that you're working with, or sometimes it's the first time that they're having a job or they're struggling in jobs. Do you ever have people that are just like, I was doing great at this job, they let me go, so I'm coming over here to try to help me get another job?
Yeah, we do too. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we usually interview them, and of course, if like you show up to the interview, in pajamas per se, I'm gonna want to help you because you know what I mean, that kind of stuff, So I kind of, when we decide kind of who we're hiring, we don't just hire, like youth that have always had trouble. We do hire those youth that are just like, again, floating in between jobs. Like, I don't know why I keep getting fired. I don't know why I keep getting let go. Well, maybe we can help you find the reason why. Like, once we work with you, then we'll kind of see maybe there's something there that they don't even know that they're doing wrong. So yeah, we do. We can help those that, and then we have stellar like resumes, and we try our best to help everyone. So it just depends. Okay. Yeah.
So when a youth enters the first step for youth to enter the program is to do an interview with you guys. Mm-hmm. You're looking not for the perfect interview, obviously. No. Yeah. You're looking for someone that is kind of struggling to kind of make it through the next step of the process.
Yes.
Can you explain a little bit about the process of how a youth can enter?
Yeah. So I usually post like a job fair when we're having it, or if I get emails, people stopping by and we're not hiring at the moment, then what I do is I keep their application kind of on the side, or I keep their email. I respond to them and say, hey, I'm going to add you to my mailing list. And as soon as I have a job fair opening, or we're going to start hiring again for the next round or the next cohort, then I call them all in and we schedule interviews. Or like I said, if I have just a day for interviewing, then we usually have them come in, and depending on how long it's been, if they want to reapply, refill out, if things have changed, like your address, phone number, if you want to update that stuff, and then we interview you same day. Or like I said, I can call them in and schedule an interview. Sometimes we have openings mid-cohort, so I like to, and I do always keep like a wait list. Like I said, sometimes it takes people maybe 1 or 2 rounds before they get into the program, but I do my best, especially if they've already been on my wait list. And again, I do get referrals from like San Joaquin County Office of Probation, the school districts here, the local school districts, also mental health services also send me referrals all the time. So I do try my best. It's just like I said, it's like every 3 to 4 months, and depending on how many youth I can hire. Sometimes I'm able to hire a little bit more just because I'm like, they need it. So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, and then sometimes even if you're not in the cohort, we can try our best to, like, maybe you want to just, hey, can I just come in and you guys help me apply for jobs, and then just reach out, and we'll try our best to accommodate and help. Yeah.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize you guys also help like the youth that aren't in the program but are on the waiting list. Like, okay, well, we can't get you in for this cohort. Let us help you maybe find another job somewhere else. Still.
Yeah. We keep their emails, and as we find out about events, we'll send them their way. And then if they an offer like, hey, if you want to come in and apply, then stop by and see us, or here's this that we know that's hiring, or here's this job fair that's coming up, if you maybe want to practice before. Mm-hmm. And again too, when they come and interview, like I said, sometimes they don't have to necessarily be dressed to the T and have a resume, because that's something we want to help you with. And again, like I'm telling you, we've had them all come in, like we've had those that come in, dress spectacular, and then we have those that come in like pajamas or, slippers and things of that sort, and they kind of don't know how to talk to someone at the interview. So that's, that's like, okay, I want to help you. So,
yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. And you guys, like, so on top of like helping them with that, do you also invite them to your guys' workshops?
Yeah, we can. We've had other youth come in that, maybe want some help. And I'm working on that, actually, kind of trying to see if we can open it up to the community, maybe have a different day where, we host a workshop for just the community, and just maybe some youth that are struggling with the resume, come in and we'll kind of go over it and maybe even help you create one. So I am working on that currently. But yeah, we've had youth that just want to come in, or maybe from different programs, even programs within the agency that, we're currently working actually with transitional housing. We're going to do a workshop with those youth on resumes coming up soon, and then, eventually mock interviews and things of that sort too. So yeah, that's hopefully on the horizon.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. So can you share a success story or a moment that really stood out to you of a youth in the program?
Yeah. We have a lot, but we do have a young lady, actually. She was working in one of our social enterprises, and she was doing really great. And she actually went on to do a union apprenticeship program for just females, just women only. Mm-hmm. And because they want women in those kind of fields, I think the percentage is like 20% to 80% male in the trades. And so she went through their 6-week program, and she just, I think it was sometime last year that she got onto, I want to say it's the electrical union, but she's working in that field now. And if you know anything about trades, you can make a lot of money in those trades. So she's doing great. So I'm really proud that she took advantage of the resources and of our partnerships, and now is, and she's doing it for her family, so it's even better, it's a immigrant family, and she was one of the only like breadwinners in the household, so now she's just doing great things, so I'm really proud of her.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That just triggered another question. Do you guys have youth that have kids that come into the program and they need assistance with childcare? Do you guys assist with that?
Yeah, we do help them look at local, if there's a preschool that maybe takes, because it just depends on the age of the child, but or maybe family resource can help. We do help them kind of look to see where they can get the help. Maybe it's through the county, maybe it's through the state, just depending on the programs that are available to them, and kind of okay, and also too, if they're when they're looking for jobs too, we also want them to get a job where it has a shift that they can, take their child to childcare and not have to worry about, oh my gosh, what am I going to do if I have somebody overnight? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're not looking for a job that they can't accommodate into their lifestyle already with their children.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys do a lot of hands-on experience for the youth in the program. Can you talk a little bit more about what hands-on experiences you guys have?
Yeah, I have a perfect example, because we've had a lot of youth that come in and they don't know how to count change. So when we deal with cash, especially, I mean, nowadays you tap, take your card anywhere. Nobody really uses cash. So we're finding there's like maybe I want to say like 5 youth so far in the program that we've had come in, and we do like the old school. I don't know. I mean, when I was in elementary school, it was like the little plastic pennies, and well, now we don't use pennies, but dimes, quarters, Monopoly money, to help them count change and learn. Like it's math, but I don't know with COVID again. If they just lost touch with that, but they don't know how to do those kind of things. So we help them with their math skills. And counting change, and this is how from $1 you subtract this. Sometimes the machine will tell you, hey, you got to give them this, but they just don't know how to make the change to make like 55 cents, so we'll help them out with that kind of stuff. So as little as that, like I said, we've kind of see and hear a lot of things working with this population, which is great, because then it helps us to say, okay, well, maybe next time I need to ask this question at an interview before I place a youth in a position that is going to make them really uncomfortable. We should be asking this, or maybe I need to create another workshop that is specifically for these youth, or just general, or the whole group. But yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So do you guys, I know you've talked a lot about working with our social enterprises for these jobs. Do you work with local businesses on providing jobs for these youth?
Yeah, we try our best. Just depends again how many youth I can accommodate per cohort, but we've helped there's Curbside Cravings where they've worked there, and again they learn like food handling there, customer service. Actually, it was really cool when that business opened. They actually named some of the menu items after the youth that came up with the acai bowls that they sell there. And we've had youth work at the underground training gym down the street as well. We've helped with another barbecue place that was here locally. So yeah, that's something that we do try. Again, it just depends on how many youth I can take, and if the need is there and I have like, hey, can I take a couple extra just to do this, then yeah, we have, of course, we talk to the employer beforehand, like these are kind of like our expectations, this is what we're working on. Again, please be patient. If there's any problems, we'll come through and help out as best we can. So
okay. Is there any like specific businesses right now that you're kind of looking to partner with, or any type of businesses that you're wanting to work with more?
Yeah, I mean, aside from the trades and open innovations right now, I would love to get them just into like maybe a warehouse job. A lot of them want to do warehouse work. A lot of them want to go into retail. So I'd love to get some sort of partnership where I can say, hey, we're training these youth. I'm not going to make a referral that I don't think is ready, you know what I mean, to join your establishment or your business. But I would love to just make as many connections, honestly, as possible. Even with school programs, if there's anything out there that's free to youth that I maybe not know about, or maybe somebody just wants to mentor a youth, like that would be great too. But yeah, I mean, I'm always looking for employers to partner with, maybe even food service, just because a lot of them, they want to. They're like at home bakers, you know, or they're like Instagram bakers, or cooks, you know, which is great. So maybe someone that can help them establish their business that's already, that maybe started there, you know, because a lot of the youth too, they have like what they call their side hustles, you know, where they advertise, I'm making cookies, I'm making cakes, I'm learning this, you know, maybe cake decorating. So anything, honestly, that we can anybody that we can partner with, I'm open and willing to hear out, and hopefully, you know, refer once they graduate our program. Maybe they can join their business, or you know, be something long term. Or
okay. You've mentioned mentorship. Can you explain like kind of how the mentorship works with a youth?
Yeah. So right now, kind of how we've been doing it, we've kind of only had mentors volunteer from within our agency. So again, if there's a youth that's been interested in mental health or social work, then we partner that youth with a volunteer from our agency that might be in that department. Or even some of our leaders have volunteered to mentor. Our transitional housing staff has mentored our youth before too, and they just check in. It doesn't have to be like something that's every week. We just ask maybe once every 2 weeks. Usually the mentors will meet them here or invite them out to like coffee or something, and just talk to them and get to know them. A friend of mine who owns her own insurance business has mentored a youth too that wanted to do the same thing. So, you know, that kind of thing, and took her out again, just, hey, like, let's take you out to lunch, or hey, let's meet at a local Starbucks and talk and see how I can help you. So be it just kind of like, for example, one of our social workers was helping a youth that wanted to be a social worker as well with, well, this is kind of the program that I went to. This is the school that I went to, and kind of what I did, the classes that I kind of took. You know, this is what it's going to entail for you to reach that end goal of becoming a social worker. And then that way the youth kind of sees, okay, am I willing to put this time and effort in, you know, or do I want to start small, not necessarily like, you know, but it's just networking also. Maybe that mentor in the community knows someone in another position that might be hiring, you know, and say, hey, like, this young lady or young man is great. Maybe it's that referral. So yeah.
So you're always looking for other like people to mentor the youth, whether they're a real estate agency or a dentist or just a forklift driver.
Yeah, exactly.
And they can kind of help the youth get through that process.
Yes, or decide if that's really what they want to do or not, you know, because some youth, they're just like, hey, I've always wanted to do this, and I'm going to do this, and then they find out when they're doing it that there's like, oh, maybe I didn't want to do this, you know, maybe I want to do this now. So, yeah.
Okay. So let's see what else we have. We've talked a lot about that one. So what makes this program unique compared to other programs like WorkNet and things like that?
I feel like we kind of add, we are very passionate about helping the youth, and, you know, again, being empathetic to their situations and what they're going through, and actually really hearing them out, you know, versus like, okay, I'm gonna just come check in with you. Are you doing what you're supposed to? Talking to your supervisor. We want to build that relationship with the youth, to where they know they can trust us, and they know, you know, we're gonna be around later. Like, we're not just gonna kick you out of the program. Like, okay, bye. You know, no, like, we do want to stick around and hear about how you're doing. You know, even if you weren't super like social in the program, and one of those, I mean, we've had youth that were just quiet the whole time in the program, and they come back and see us and like, oh, hey, how are you guys doing? This is what I'm doing now. You know, that's the type of relationship we want to build. We want to know that they're successful, you know, till they're older, and again, just being very empathetic with them and listening to them and really, really getting to like, okay, what's going on, and how can we help you? I feel like that's kind of something that me and my staff have that not everybody does. Like, we really do love our job. I'm very passionate about helping this youth. Being a opportunity youth myself, that was out at 18 by myself. It was, if it wasn't for the people that helped me out, that were my mentors, I probably wouldn't be where I am today. Um, and just I paying it forward. I guess that's kind of what sets us apart. We just want to help and do our best as long as they meet us halfway. And again, we don't take things personal. I mean, we have youth that you know don't want that relationship, and so we're not going to take it personal. We're not going to push ourselves either. You know what I mean? But as long as we're working together and the youth are working with us, then there's no telling what they can do. So yeah, just want to make a difference.
Yeah, I love that you put in your little personal antidote there about this is why you're passionate about your job and why you really want to make a difference in another youth's life is because someone did that to you.
Yeah.
So I really love that that's kind of where your passion stems from, and for me, I feel like that's kind of the best way to do it. Like,
yeah, exactly.
If you're passionate, the youth are gonna feel that you're passionate.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely passionate.
Yeah, I'm hoping that some of that energy, rubs off on them so that, and that's what we tell them too. Like, I had a good friend of mine would always tell me, maybe you're going through this so that you can help someone else that's going to go through it later, and so that always stuck with me. So we try our best to, be there.
I love that. So if a youth wants to get involved in the youth workforce program, how can they do that right now?
They can email me directly. It's apineda, PINEDA at mainstreetyfs.org, or visit our webpage too, and just scroll over to Youth Workforce Development. There should be some form you can fill out that I'll get in an email, and then I'll reach back out. Or they can come by and see us here at the Courthouse Plaza as well. We're downstairs, I want to say Suite 201A. But my office is, if you're coming into the Courthouse Plaza off Main Street, we're the first door to your right, and we're usually always there. Just knock and come out and say, hey, like, I'm interested, and we'll go from there.
Okay. And that's the same for if you're a local business that is interested in participating in the youth workforce program, or if you're interested in mentoring a youth, the same.
Yeah, same. So just reach out, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can, and we can work things out.
Okay. Is there any advice on someone who is looking for the first-time job?
Yeah, don't give up. It is tough out there, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's not that easy right now in this market, and especially a lot of jobs do require a lot of experience, but don't give up. Don't be intimidated. There is help out there, and it's just that it is tough, but it's not impossible. So just, even if you don't have a resume, like if anybody just wants to come down and say, hey, like, could you guys help me? I've just, even though I can't get into the program now, can you at least help me get a resume started? Then again, we'll do our best to do so. So come on and see us, and if you need some motivation, we're here.
All right. Any final words about the youth workforce program?
I think we're great. No, I mean, those youth, honestly, a lot of our referrals have come from youth that have graduated the program. Like I said, nobody ever wants to leave once they're here, because it's not just my team, but it's also the supervisors that we work with. They're all, super patient and super great and nice and kind to these youth. So they also build relationships with the youth. It's not just me and my team. It takes a village, literally, to help out, and so this is a great place just to come by and hang out. It's a safe space, but yeah, we're really here to help the community, and hopefully inspire others to do the same, and yeah, just come by and see us.
All right, awesome. All right, so thank you guys so much for joining us at Voices of Main Street, and learning a little bit more about the youth workforce program. If you have any other questions or want to learn more about the Youth Workforce Program, please feel free to visit us at www.mainstreetyfs.org, and you'll see everything there. So we encourage you guys to either participate, or if you have a business or know a business, please share this information with them. Or if you're wanting to mentor youth, we would love to see you and have you help out the youth. All right, so again, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
And don't forget to share, like, and follow us for more Voices of Main Street. Thank you.